probably going to be doing a lot more filming on Lucy's puppies because they're suddenly starting to become real people. It's not that I love Winty's puppies less, it's just they're only 11 days old and they're not doing a great deal yet. I will do one on Winty's puppies in a minute. But here's Two Spot. You see the puppies have chosen to all taken themselves into the crate and fall asleep. And now they've woken up, they're all coming out to toilet. Yay! Well done, puppies! Clever little Two Spot. Good boy. You clever boy. You clever boy. And there's One Spot, and he's come out and used the loo. Well done, boy. Clever boy. So already they're going, we don't want to be in our bed. And you're really going to use this desire not to wee in the bed is what you're going to use to motivate your puppy not to wee indoors. That's the whole point of crate training. We don't put puppies in crates because we want to lock them up. The crate is just a way of saying, this is your bed, and you can't leave it until you called me. So the puppy says, oh, I've woken up, and actually, you know what, I really want to wee, but I don't want to wee in my bed. And the crate just means I'm trapped in my bed. So hopefully they'll do a little whine and they'll call you to them, and you'll come to them and take them outside for a wee. And then they can come back in and have free access to the house because they've toileted. Okay, remember this crate, you notice I haven't even got the door on it. You also notice the puppies have carefully chosen to take themselves in there because they feel safe and warm and comfortable in this dark but not too dark little cave. Dogs like to live in caves. Here's a lovely little cave. They've all gone in there and fallen asleep. And now these two have woken up and gone, ooh, we don't want to be in our bed, we'll come out. And now Lucy's noticed they're awake. And so she's going to come in and feed everybody. And again, I might need to swap that to a bigger crate, and they don't do bigger plastic crates. So I might have to get out my horrible, metal one that looks like a prison that I really hate. But what I do is line it with white hardboard, and then I cover it with a blanket. So again, it looks like a cave, but it's actually big enough for Lucy to go in there and feed her puppies, because Lucy loves the crate. I did a lot of work on getting her feeling comfortable in the crate when she was a puppy. I was never brave enough to close the door because I'm unbelievably soft-hearted and I cannot bear an animal near me that is in distress. So consequently, I've actually never crate trained any of my own puppies. So I feel like I'm a bit of a hypocrite talking about crate training. But the emphasis is on the word training. If you have accustomed your puppy and trained your puppy to feel calm, happy and relaxed in a crate, even when the door is closed, then there's absolutely no harm in it. The problem arises when you get a puppy home at 8 weeks and nobody's ever put it in a crate and closed the door on it, and you think, night time, oh good, I'll just pop my puppy in this crate and close the door. And then your puppy goes absolutely ballistic and is completely distressed, and you think, oh, the puppy's just being naughty, I'll leave it in there having an absolute spaz out. And I'm sorry, but that's cruel, because you know what happens to baby mammals who lose contact with their parents or their caregivers? They die. They either die of starvation or they die because a predator gets them. Your puppy knows this. That's why when you put them in a crate and you close the door without first getting them accustomed to the idea that it's a sensible place to be, they go absolutely frantic. They scratch at the door, they scream and they cry, and they're doing it because, as far as they're concerned, if they can't attract a caregiver to them or get out of the crate and go and find a caregiver, they're going to die. I actually regard this as cruelly unfair. I know it's true that you do this for 2 or 3 or 4 nights in a row. Eventually your puppy will just give up and they will stop crying and they will kind of realize that they're not going to die. You know, and if you're tough enough to listen to your puppy screaming and not do anything about it, and I don't actually condemn that, because eventually, you know, you're right, the puppy goes, well, I'm in here and I didn't die, and I'm in here and I didn't die, and you know what, I'll just put up with it. And then after a while it might even be, actually I don't mind, you know, being in here is nice, it's safe, it's peaceful, it's cozy, it's dark. But personally, I am absolutely unable to listen to an animal in distress and not do anything about it. So personally, softy though that I am, and also to be fair, because I live alone, when I have a new puppy, this is what I did with Lucy, and what I did with Winty when she was a puppy, I wrapped them up in a towel and I took them to bed with me, and I had the most beautiful night's sleep, during which nobody weed on anybody, and nobody cried, and nobody moaned, and at 6 in the morning when my puppy stirred, I kept her in the towel and I took her straight outside for a toilet. And actually it all went wonderfully. It was unbelievably easy. But I utterly respect that not everybody wants to have a puppy in their bed. And both Lucy and Winty weed on my bed once. Fortunately, I had sensibly put a waterproof sheet on the bed, so yes, I had to wash my bedding and my duvet and my pillows and the towel I had her wrapped up in, but my mattress was unscathed. And the next night I just woke up when she stirred, took her out, and none of that happened. It only happened once with Winty and once with Lucy. So I'm not going to recommend that, because most people don't actually want a puppy being on their bed. But for the first night, if you had a kind of plastic large cat carrier like this, which has a hole in the middle, and you can put that next to your bed, and if your puppy whimpers and stirs, you put your hand in just to reassure them that some living thing is there, and the chances are they'll just fall asleep again. Oh, look at you lot. I'm going to take some more film later of them kind of walking around and doing stuff, because they really are growing up now. They're suddenly turning into little people. Oh, you sweethearts. And Lucy, what a good dog is a Lucy. Good dog, Lucy.